We all easy on him. We can smartify the questions now. My dogs love the snacks. They love all snacks. Anything, they'll smell it, they'll find it, they'll eat it. Cats. They actually did an event the other day. My shepherd, Sadie, she had a wart growing on her mouth, and I was afraid it was a spider bite or something, so I took him to the vet. And there was one of those old school fat vet cats that kind of hangs out in the lobby. And so I ran into, 1,000 dogs and vicious dogs and nice dogs. And Sadie, just being the shepherd, goes into the cat and starts to kind of like smell and do a little rumble. And the cat just goes, maybe 5 or 6 shots. And Sadie was like, all right, I've had enough of that cat. Not really. And Harley's too slow to really do anything. So he's sort of like confused. The cat moves too fast. He cries. So, that's it. Anything else? How we all? How was Jensen?
He's awesome.
I can always count on him to say the right thing. Anybody have any more? Anybody have any more questions? See you later. Both sides. Both sides. Oh, which side do I start with? Oh, this is very organized. I was trying to find out which were camera phones and which were microphones. Hi.
Hi, I'm Jen. I wasn't really expecting to switch, so...
I can play, Jensen. Yes. He's not here to defend himself. I feel bad. He's going to defend himself back in the corridors.
I have 2 questions then. Can you do that again now that I do it?
How would Jay end with Jensen?
Over here! Over here!
This way! Oh my God, he is so funny. He is so funny. What a goof.
I think I snotted out of my mouth. That was very not Jensen. He probably would have snotted on himself. Yeah. I agree.
What would be your favorite love interest on Supernatural so far?
So far?
Not your question.
My favorite love interest. Which one?
Sarah.
You know what? I feel like the most open-ended. Obviously, Madison's dead, and though that was sort of a full arc. It happened very fast, and I think that Sam and Sarah did have something kind of going on. And nothing ever happened. So I'm curious to see if she comes back. And it seemed like, at least at that point in time, it seemed like it was setting her up to come back because she worked at an antique shop where there might be more paintings or more stuff. I followed that word. More stuff that comes in that she might need help with. So I wonder if we'll see her come back. But that would probably be the most realistic, for my opinion.
Thank you.
Sure.
Hi. I have 2 questions.
Okay.
A friend of mine would like to know if you could have dinner with any person, living, dead, or fictional, who would it be? And I would like to know who choreographed the love scene in her heart.
That was the second question is easier to answer. That was Kim Manners. Inevitably, it's, I mean, kissing on screen is awkward enough because you're sort of like, I want to look cool, I want to be like hot and sexy, and I want to like get that right emotion. And then, the light's there, and they're going, you're blocking her light. Like, okay, yeah, now lean in, turn your head more. Like, okay, yeah, still look good, still look, yeah. So that's odd enough, and so now take a lot of clothes off, and then you're like, where can you see? Can you see my forearm? No, so I don't need to flex my forearm. Just like that. Can you need abs? Shannon, my makeup artist, Shannon, give me some paint. And so it's though it looks fine on screen, it's inevitably very awkward, and it's always like, she was a very sweet girl, but it's like, I'm sorry, like, nice to meet you, okay? It's odd and it's awkward, so they have to be very choreographed. But Kim Manners did that. And The Living Dead, or you know what? This is just something out of my own curiosity, and I love my family, and I never got to meet my dad's dad, so I'd like to go back and see. Yeah, my mom's parents, I knew them both. My dad's mom, but I never got to meet my father's father. So if I could go back and meet him, I'd love to. Sure, thank you. Now I go. Good face.
I was wondering, improvising here because I had a question for Jensen.
I can bring it back.
But you can't if you want to, but I was wondering what your favorite practical joke was that you played.
My favorite practical joke was that I played, you know what, I still say Kim Manners, wants to go back to Kim, we always have a lot of fun with him on set, and last year we threw him into, when we were doing No Exit, which was the one where they were in the walls, Joe and Dean, there was a tube that they built on set that had water all through it, and so we had to crawl through it, and we're all getting wet, and our knees are getting all scuffed up, and Manners is laughing, and so Jensen and myself and two of my buddies, my buddy Jordan and my buddy Logan, who were in town visiting, picked up Kim, who as it is already, 5'6", and much smaller than any of us, and so he's like 110 pounds or something, grab him, and he's like, I'll kill you all. Struggling back and forth, and finally we just overpower him because there's four of us, and we shove him into this tube full of water and kind of gunk and all this crazy stuff they put in there to make it look like a sewer. And so he got us back though. He got us back. It's actually on the gag reel. He got us back. So he had the last laugh, but we still have to get it back for that. We're biding our time. Yeah. Thank you. Hi.
I'm Maria.
Hi Maria. I'm Jared.
Hi, I'm Nikki.
My question for you is, what is the most memorable moment you had in the process of filming Supernatural?
Wow. That's a very good question. You know what? It's not really been one moment, but it's been maybe a series of moments. This is what pops into my head of when you kind of realize that what you're doing, such as right now, this very second, when you realize that what you're doing is reaching people, and people are actually watching and enjoying your work and getting along with their stories, and you'll read this letter or you'll hear from this fan or this person that says, listen, it's something that I can watch with my brother. We used to not get along. It's something I can watch with my father. It's something I can watch with my sister. It's something like we'll turn the phones off and we'll lock our doors and everybody knows not to call us. And so just hearing stuff like that, it really gets you through the long hours. And we're living in Vancouver. We're waking up, going to work, going home, going to sleep. Waking up, going to work, going home, going to sleep. On the weekends, we do grocery shopping, and then go back to sleep, and then waking up and we're at work again. And so these moments help you realize that the last 2.5 years has not been for naught. So thank you guys. So, thank you guys.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
I'm Jared. Sarah, that was Taylor's name in Providence.
First of all,
My mind's always working, guys.
I just have to say, hi Sandy, I think you're fabulous.
I'm Jared. I can bring Sandy in here.
First of all, I have to say, my birthday is on Thursday, and I just have to say thank you so much for coming out here, you and Jensen both. This is the best birthday present ever.
Oh, well, happy birthday. Thank you so much.
And third of all, my question, was it difficult in the episode that Sandy was in, acting that scene out? Because I don't know about anybody else, but that was very disturbing for me to watch.
It was, well, I've always wanted to, I actually called and asked. I was like, originally I just walk away, but I called Eric. I was like, can I shoot her? It was difficult in that when you're in a relationship and you know somebody so well and you fall in love with the person for many years, there's something different that happens when you look at them and you don't see even what they say. You kind of like they could not talk and say anything, and you're buying what they're selling. So So it was weird to act with her in that sense, but it was a great kind of way to come full circle because we met on Cry Wolf and acting together. So it was interesting to go back and act, and I was very proud of her, very happy with the work, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and our director was very, obviously, conscious of what was going on, and it was fun. But the only thing is that when I watch the scene, it looks like I'm smirking at a point in time, and I'm like, I know I'm not smirking. I know I'm smirking at Sam, but I'm like, I hope it doesn't look like I'm laughing because I know Sandy, because I remember I was trying to smirk to help Sam bluff the crowd. Anyways, it was on, I loved it, and I'd do it again. Yeah. Not bad. I'm done. Sorry, baby.
Thank you.
Hi.
I'm Amanda.
I'm Jared.
My question is about the third episode of season 3, Bad Jane Black Rock.
Yeah, I got.
I absolutely love that episode. And
I
then
did too.
the last scene with Sam and Dean, where Dean is yelling out "son of a bitch," you can see him cracking up on film.
That's
How many takes did it take for you to just give up and have that one on film?
Well, he improvised that line. He's thrown in a few. He said "son of a bitch" a few times on Supernatural. For those who do Supernatural, and a lot of times he's just improvising it. So the shot, as I had known, the shot was over, and it was a great shot. It was a Steadicam shot that starts, and that was all. That whole scene was one shot, and it was sort of a way to cleverly tie in us leaving with catching her in the background and then coming back and ending on us. And it was a great shot, a really tough shot. We had a great Steadicam operator, and we had to do that probably 3 or 4 times. You know, there's a light that goes off, or I fall, or one of those things, or the car is not cued on time, or it's cued on time but she goes too fast. There were so many elements that work, especially in those long Steadicam shots. Everything has to be perfect, and he comes around, so the people who are running behind us holding mics have to like run back and then get down and like run into gravestones and trying to ignore everything. But that one I just couldn't help but laugh. Yeah, it was one of those ones, and I was like, I don't know if they're still rolling, but if they are, I better hide my face.
And then I was watching Jensen's reaction, and I went, hang on, Jared's back.
Yeah. My favorite part of that episode is actually just the look on Jensen's face when we win, when we have the check. He looks like he's 6 years old. There's something about, because he's a few years older than I am, but there's something about when he gets this goofy look on his face, he could be 5. He could be my son, like, on my shoulder. Chicken nuggets. But, yeah, that was, every time I watch that, I crack up. But, yeah, that was a funny shot.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Jared. I'm Tina.
Hi, Tina.
I lost my shoe, yeah.
Jared.
That killed
What
me.
are your favorite pastimes while you're filming Supernatural?
My favorite pastime while I'm filming Supernatural, I guess during the day, it's weird because when you're filming a TV show or a movie or anything, it's true what they say, you know, in a 14-hour day, you'll only be working 3 of those hours, 4 of those hours, maybe on hard days, half of that time. But your off time, you can't necessarily just go, okay, I have 5 minutes in between shots, I'm gonna go, you know, like, read a book, or because then you get totally out of the scene. It's, you know, you go from doing a crazy emotional scene to like, hey, let's go play like, you know, jumping jacks or something. So what I try to do during the day is just try and set my head straight. You know, my dogs are usually with me, and I'll just kind of sit down with them and pet them, or I'll call Sandy, or you know, I'll turn on the news, just sort of have it in the background. But even sometimes watching the news, you know, you'll sit there and you'll go, oh wait, and they'll call you. We're already on set. They're like, I just wanted to see if this person's all right, you know. It's tough, and it's sort of this weird limbo where you can't stay on set because you'll just go crazy, but you can't completely let your mind leave the job at hand because then you'll get out of the scene. So it's kind of, you kind of just zone out, but I guess just relaxing. Thank you. Hi, I'm Jared.
My comment was going to be for Jensen, sorry.
Okay, I can.
So Jensen,
He will be coming back. He will be coming back.
Alright, but, and wait, I can get to tell you.
Oh.
Fell in love with him on Dark Angel, and
Didn't we all? What?
love him more now. But the question can be towards you.
Okay.
In the episode,
I'll take it.
well, it involves you, but his answer would probably have been a lot better.
That probably would. Will someone come wipe my tears?
We love you, Jared.
In bedtime,
I'll take no offense. In bedtime.
in bedtime stories, the episode, there is a scene that Sam and Dean are walking together in
Right.
conversations, and you like look like you forget your no, or you know your line,
Right.
and Dean has to like step in, and Offset there, not Offset, but you can see an extra, female extra walk by, and you kind of like follow her, and Dean has to jump in and finish like your line or whatever, and save you, I thought.
Which one was it? A lot of times he and I will work out that. Do you remember what the scene was? Because I could probably answer it more specifically. It was in bedtime stories?
It was in bedtime.
Were we in the hospital?
No, you're not in the hospital, you're outside. In the park. Yeah, you were talking about what happened at the morgue.
You said I got nothing.
Yeah, you
That's what she's talking
kind of like paused, and Dean had to jump in and.
Oh, you know what that was? Okay, I know what you mean. We're walking up a hill. We're walking up the hill of the streets. What that was is that was another long shot. The longer the shot, the more you kind of have to rush things. And what it is that we had to finish the shot by the time we came exactly even with the street, because that's where we had our cameraman. Because we had another angle. We had an angle going down the street, and then we had an angle that was sort of following us like this. And so we had to time out that whole walk to try and start it at the bottom of the block and then finish it by the time we exited frame. And so it's just this weird timing issue to where you sort of, either you're going too fast and then you have to really slow down and like dramatic pause towards the end of the scene, or you kind of take pauses through the scene and then you sort of rush it at the end. And so I think that was just sort of, we both might have rushed it a bit at the end to make sure we got out.
It kind of looked like you were checking the chick out, which is so out of character. Seriously, Dean, who's really like,
Man, I think it's actually if I was. If I was, I've actually tried to make a conscious effort this year for no reason. I haven't been talking to many writers, but there's a line that Fred Lane says to Jensen at the end of last year, which is, "Are you sure what you brought back is 100% Sam?"
right.
Yeah.
And then we haven't. So I've started to sort of bring out the Dean and Sam.
Right, and that's what I was wondering if that's where the storyline was going. Because it really...
Not specifically, but just as an actor, some choices I make to deliver lines would be how I think maybe Jensen would have done it,
Right.
or just with a check out here and there. There's also another part in Sin City where you didn't see it too much, but where Martin Papazian, I forget his character's name, but forget about it. That guy, where he comes out, he's like, "My sister Cheryl," and then she walks away, and we both kind of check her out. And that was another thing that I decided, like, throw Sam's face out there. And
You guys are great. Thank you.
thanks so much. I'm Jerry. Taylor was Sarah. Sarah was the girlfriend.
I have two questions.
Okay.
First one is, are you in contact with anyone still from Gilmore Girls?
I'm not in contact with anyone still from Gilmore Girls, but I have, when I see people here and there, like Scott Patterson is up in Vancouver right now shooting Aliens in America. And so I'll see them, and he's great, but I'll see them at Warner Brothers events or CW events, and the latest people I've really seen have been Scott, and I saw Milo like a year and a half ago, but other than that I haven't really been able to keep in charge of everybody. He's kicking ass, huh? He's kicking butt. Yeah, I'm really proud of him. He's a hard worker. He deserves it. So.
Okay, and the second one is, Jensen really didn't answer this one, but what is your favorite memory?
What do you mean my answer is going to be better than Jensen's? I'll take care of it. What's your question?
Favorite memory of Jensen when he was drunk?
us back to my favorite memory of Jensen in Bad Day at Black Rock. He'll sometimes get his look on his face where he's 6 years old, and you want to like take a beer out of his hand and go, son, you're not old. So, I don't know, we have a lot of fun. We don't ever get stupid, but we have a lot of fun and like to laugh. So, just goofing around on each other, you know. Thank you, Taylor. Hi.
Hi, Pam. I'm Jared.
Hi, Jared. Purpose.
Is there an historical person or fictional character that you would like to play?
Yes. I'd love to play Howard Rourke from The Fountainhead.
Yes!
I'd love to do that. When I read that book, I really appreciated the character, and whether you agree with Ayn Rand or not, you know, that's a totally different discussion. But I think he's a very interesting character, and he'd be very, very fun to play. So,
Thank you for being here.
thank you.
I'm actually an actor from New York.
Awesome. Well, nice to meet you.
I so connect with the show, and I'm not really a TV person at all. But,
Right.
I really wish that, you know, the darkness and evil in the world came from the supernatural. You know,
Right.
it doesn't.
Right.
And I so connected with the show because, well, coincidentally, my mom died the same week that the father died on the thing. And I look after my sisters, and there's a lot of dark and pain and terrible stuff. And these conversations that you have about faith and all these things, I just so connected. It has such an impact on me. You just, you know, the writers do it, but you really bring the unbelievable to be believable, which I think is such a skill. So,
Thank you so much. This voice is one of the reasons that Jensen and I are so excited to be a part of this show. And Eric has voiced it before, and it's in this guise of the supernatural, we get to tackle a lot of real life issues dead on, like the vampires. Do you kill them? And sort of tackling racism, or like you're saying, faith. You know, you talk about faith healers, real or not. You sort of talk about beliefs in that. So it's been a good way to get away with talking about real life issues, but not throwing in your face like real life issues. You know.
Dean had this one line where he says, in My Time of Dying, he says, I would, you know, you always have a choice. You could roll over and die or keep on fighting no matter what. And that stayed with me through so many things.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
I'm Jared.
I'm Jared. I'm Pam.
My question is, since you guys obviously film out of sequence, and whenever actors are available or whatever,
Sure.
what do you think of the final program once it's put together?
It's so bizarre, because not just the out-of-sequence filming, but with the visual effects and the special effects and the color timing that's done, the changing, the darkening of a lot of the shots and just everything getting put together, it's great to watch. It's not just like, and I love Gilmore Girls, and I love my 5 years on Gilmore Girls, but when you film it, you know what you're going to see. You know, you look around and you're in Luke's Diner, and you're like, oh, okay, like this could be Luke's Diner. Whereas, you know, you're here and we're out in the field somewhere and we're yelling and there are rain towers and I'm reading a Latin book and screaming and looking at absolutely nothing. And then you see what our visual effects guys have done and our special effects guys have done, and you're going, wow, like that's good for them. It just feels like a really collaborative effort because on all sides. So not just the out-of-sequence filming, but every aspect that goes into Supernatural really makes it a fun production, fun to watch. It's easier to detach myself when I watch it because inevitably actors are very critical of themselves. And so since it's such a fun, kind of crazy, kooky show, you can sort of get caught up in it as opposed to just watching and going, oh, I suck there. Oh, I suck. I was better than Jensen there, but
You get to watch it every week.
no, we don't get to watch it every week, but because you're usually working. Actually, I think we work most every Thursday at that time, but they'll get us a copy, and I also have the iTunes season pass. I watch it on my iPod. Whenever I want to get recognized, I go, sorry, let me pause Supernatural. Great show, this guy is. Thank you. Hi. It happens. I have that effect.
Probably your mom might be.
Good to know. I'll have to call you and ask you some stuff sometimes. Just wondering.
I just wanted to say that you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
I appreciate you guys getting up early in the morning. I know it's hard. It takes a lot of you out, and you guys are busy immensely. I'm also the one that sent you thank you plaque.
Yeah, okay.
And I got one for your mom and dad.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you.
Really good. If it wasn't for doing genocide, we'd be here today.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you very much. I don't know how to get that. I can leave. Can I? Thank you very much. All right, thank you. That was my favorite question yet.
I'm on a t-shirt.
Okay, I go back to this. Hi.
Hi, I'm Carly.
Hi, Carly.
Okay, I was watching the Ellen DeGeneres episode where
Right.
you were talking about that experience you had where you thought you were dead.
That's right.
I was wondering if anything like that has ever happened again or on set or anything funny like that.
That was during Flight of the Phoenix. That was kind of odd. And I'm starting to wish I didn't admit that. It'll follow me. It's every now and again some kooky stuff will happen on Supernatural. I don't know if it's because of what we're filming or because that's kind of where you put your head for the sake of trying to act more gooder. So, but I remember there was this episode, I keep on telling the story of when we were shooting Skin, which was the one in season 1 where we had the brother-brother fight scene. We were in this house, and it was this big, gorgeous house, and, you know, there are grips putting up their grip stuff, and electricians putting up their gas stuff, and everybody's kind of doing their own thing. And then all of a sudden, on this opposite wall where nobody was, it was a wall that, outside of that wall was outside the house. Like, it wasn't an interior wall, it was a...
Exterior wall?
It was the interior of an exterior wall. And all of a sudden, this clock just goes blunk and falls off. And a couple of us sort of looked over and we were like, who did that? Why did that do that? And then somebody, I don't remember who it was, but somebody just sort of walked over and picked it up and put it back on, and then we all just sort of scattered. But every now and again, there's some crazy things.
Well, thank you. And
Thank you.
I'll agree with that person. This is the best birthday present ever.
Oh, well, happy birthday. Thank you.
They've got some amazing...
That guy is...
I've never felt more comfortable than I do right now.
I've never been more attracted to your torso.
It's a funny thing,
I
isn't
don't know
it?
what it is. Something about the whole... I answered a few questions better than you would have.